Hi, this is Jay at the Taj Mahal. As you can see, the beautiful Taj behind me. We're now in Agra. We've come away from the Himalayas. We've come down to the plains. It's very hot here. It's over 100 degrees Fahrenheit. Oh, about 40, 44 degrees centigrade. That beautiful structure back behind me, everybody knows about. This is not new for most of you. One of the things that we have been saying about Islam in the past, in the other videos, is Muslims are not permitted to have images of people. They cannot have images of Jesus or Muhammad or any other of the prophets. And so what happened was many of the Muslims put their energies not into images of people, but they put their energies into architecture and into calligraphy. That is one of the most beautiful, and it's probably the best piece of architecture Islam has ever produced. Made by Shah Jahan for his wife Taj Mahal. She died in 1631, and he started this project in 1632 and built this building. You can see the bottom part there was first the plinth, and then the upper structure, and then the dome itself. That's a 55-meter building, about 150 feet high. The dome itself is about 25 meters. And if you come in on the dome, you can see the beautiful shape of the dome. That's one of the unique parts of what we know as the Taj Mahal. Now, the interesting thing about the Taj Mahal is that it takes an arcuate type of architecture, unlike the trabeate architecture that the Hindus had earlier. This is an arcuate, and the Mughals were the one that introduced that arcuate type of architecture. Arches, using arches rather than just horizontal straight lines. And that's one of the best examples of that type of architecture. The minarets were then added at the very end, and it took about 16 years from 1632 up until around 1648 to finish this building. Now, if you look at the minarets closely, you can see the four minarets are slightly leaning outwards. And the reason for that, in case there's an earthquake or any kind of destruction, the minarets would not fall in. They were just designed that way so they would not damage the central part of the architecture. If you look at the Mahal very closely, you can also see an awful lot of inlay. We cannot go any closer than this point. We're not permitted to take a video camera right up to the building itself. Otherwise, I would show you some of the beautiful, intricate flower designs and tree designs, beautiful semi-precious stones. 28 different kinds of stones were used in the inlay there. Over 20,000 artisans and people were used to build that structure. 37 different designers were used to design the building. And they came from all over. They didn't just come from here. They had designers that came in from Syria and Turkey. And of course Iran. It's what is today, present day Iran, Persia back then. And they built, and they were the ones that designed this building, built by 20,000 other people. And it was built for Shah Jahan's wife, his favorite wife, his third wife. She died in 1631 because of childbirth, her 14th child. Lots of children they had. And he loved her so much that he wanted to build one of the greatest pieces of architecture ever seen on the earth. It's one of the 7 wonders of the world, and that's what he built out of his love for his wife. Now, he is also buried there as well. He was, after this building was finished, he was then taken and he was imprisoned in the Red Fort, which is off in that direction. We're going to see it later. Red Fort that was imprisoned, which he had also built. He was imprisoned by his son named Aurangzeb, and Aurangzeb did not want his father to come to the Mahal, and so he could only see it from a distance looking out the window of his chamber. So he never did get to come and actually use the Mahal and come and visit his wives too. When he died, he himself is then buried next to her, down in the crypt down underneath. The two tombs are side by side. We can't show you. I would love to. It's gorgeous because the inside the Taj Mahal is the most beautiful artwork, is the most beautiful calligraphy. And when you look at the calligraphy, they are basically Quranic verses. When you look at the verses, they come primarily from Surahs 80s and the Surahs 90s, 81, 83, 84, and 89, and Surah 91, Surah 93, Surah 94, and Surah 95. These are references from those different verses of those different surahs. What's interesting is when you read the Quranic verses, as you're standing there right around the entrance, you may be able to see in the distance there, the surahs are smaller at the bottom and larger at the top. So as you're looking there, they actually look the same the same size, looking up. They built this design purposely to do just that. Now, some of the designs were put on by some of the great designers of that time. Ustad Ahmed is one of those. Also, Ustad Issa. Ustad Ahmed and Ustad Issa were the two great designers who helped design this building. Many people have asked and questioned, with a name like Issa, Jesus, was possibly the great designer of this building Christian? And that has been debated back and forth. I would assume that no, Issa is the name for Jesus in the Quran. If his name was Issa, then I imagine he was a Muslim that maybe came from Christianity, maybe converted to Islam. But certainly this is a Muslim piece of architecture. This is a Muslim piece of art. This is not a Christian piece of art, like some people would like to suggest. Ustad means basically a teacher, and Ustad Ahmad and Ustad Issa are the ones who are given most credit for having built this piece of building. Now, we've talked about architecture before, and we've talked about the great art. Over on the right side, you'll see another structure, sandstone, red structure. This is the western building that is actually a mosque. It's a masjid. A mosque on this side. Through the trees over here on the left, as you come this direction, over on your right, excuse me, is another structure that is exactly parallel to that one. It's built basically exactly a carbon copy of the two buildings. That is a guest house. Over here is the masjid. They were basically built by Shah Jahan out of sandstone, and it is that red sandstone that all the Mughals used. Shah Jahan was the first to employ marble. He was the first to start using marble. And of course, some of the finest marble from all over India was brought for this very reason. And this is the best example of it. As the sun now hits the Mahal, the Taj Mahal, we'll probably bring it to a close there. I think it's important that you look at it, that you enjoy it. I think it's very important that we also appreciate what Shah Jahan gave us. This is Jay then, in Agra, at the Taj Mahal. Over and out.